hey, you did a really good job for me on that last whatever, that's a separate item. The job design is the intrinsic motivation. The separate item of praise and feedback is the extrinsic reward. And both are important. And we know it with children, and we know it with students, that not just the design of the work, but the feedback that you get. And that's a reason, for example, that I know I'm behind on logging the e-exercises. I review them, and the logging is a separate step, because I want to give you your points so that you know where you stand before you go into the exam. Now, the hard part. What is my motivating potential score as a professor? Yes. And largely in this environment, because you don't see the other part of what I do in writing and research and so on. You will not offend me. I was raised by a former Roman Catholic nun. That's impossible to offend me.
I'm guessing it's either high on the medium end or low on the like higher end, like above 80. Or what was the high?
The high starts at 85.
Yeah, so either between 70 and 90 is what
You're going to say 70 to 90? About the rest of you, take a chance. Yes, sir.
I'd say about the same. I think you like what you do. Maybe you don't like the effort that we give. Like maybe we're not doing as well as you would expect.
Okay.
I was thinking 50 to 70, right in the middle of the 43 to 84.
Okay. Others? I just did it a moment ago. I do it fresh every time we do this exercise. Always come up with just about the same number, 75. Now, of the dimensions that make up the scale, skill variety, task identity, significance, autonomy, and feedback from the job itself, I'll give away part of this. I rated all but one as a 5. And you got the hint of the one that is not a 5 within the last 60 seconds.
Feedback.
Yep. Your comment was right on target. Now, I look around the classroom. This guy is working on his telephone. There's another one up there. Nobody's fallen asleep yet, or whatever that thing is. Yeah. One person a couple of weeks ago fell asleep. See, I can see that from here. You can't. I mean, they're like this. I said, what did I do? So and that's what happens in this kind of environment. And that's why I've requested, I didn't want to be in this room at all, but because the nurses needed the other room over in Dane Smith Hall, they put all of the Anderson School people in this room and the one next door. And I know what this room's like. I started in here 20 years ago. And even though they got new chairs, and nice carpet and stuff, well, it's kind of nice. But I can't see up in the upper level all that well. It's dark. When it's in Dane Smith Hall, it's well lighted and people have their names on the table so I can talk to you. I'm trying to learn names, but it's really hard to do when you don't have name tags. So feedback from the job itself. Now, there's another feedback dimension that I think is discussed in the chapter, and it's called feedback from others. And this morning I met for an interview with a former online student. She took a course online in the summer, and she's doing a research project over in OLIT, a master's level course, and she was just raving about the online course. And I remember her so vividly, in one of the emails that she sent to me in the summer, she's capital letters, I love this course. Now that's feedback from somebody else, not feedback while doing the job. It's equally important. And remember, as a supervisor, you have that responsibility of giving feedback. And that's what is wrong with the picture that you drew. Pick up the phone, God, what is it now? You know it's going to be junk. You deal with it. You give them another computer with all that crappy Microsoft software on it. You know they're going to call you back over and over again. Yes, sir?
It says feedback from the job, and it says it includes feedback from clients directly served by the job. So wouldn't that, she was directly served by the so isn't that...
Is it defined that way here?
What's right in front of the core job characteristics, feedback from the job? job includes.
Oh, from clients.
Yeah.
Yes.
So would a student be a client to them?
Yes. Yes. And so the student, okay, excellent, because this student this morning came in and gave me a compliment about the course and how much she loved it. And what she's doing is research on online courses for this OLED course, blah, 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 and she would like to see it expanded. Other questions? Yes?
I was just going to comment that if I had done that with feedback from the supervisor, it would have totally changed my score.
Yeah.
It would. I did the job because the client always had good feedback.
Yeah, right. Now we separate, it's accurate for it to say feedback from clients because they are part of the doing of the job, whereas feedback from supervisors, as you're going to see, is in the surround of the job, in the context of the job. So that takes us to the next level where it says moderator variables at the bottom of page 2. I would like you to answer the questions there about knowledge, growth needs, strength, and context satisfaction about your present job or one in the past. That'll only take a few minutes. Okay, now because of the way the theory says these moderators work, I would like to know if there are any of you we don't add these up, by the way, but a 3 or less, no, a 2 or less, a 1 or a 2 is really low on each of these items. So going to context satisfaction, which is satisfaction with the work environment, it's the easiest one. Anybody got a 1 or a 2? In the job you were talking about,
No, I decided to switch it because we all know that's going to be probably the lowest score. So I decided to go with, I was night manager at Subway for about a year. That was, yeah, you already.
I just kind of nightmare. I'm no good at night stuff in Subway. Wow.
Yeah.
So and you rated the context satisfaction as a 2 or a 1.
Yeah.
Why?
Because towards the end, it was less satisfying. In the beginning, it was nice because you kept getting rewards. You kept getting told, "Hey, you're doing a great job. We're getting this Subway is one of the best in the state." And then you move up to management, and everything changes because then you're responsible for everything that happens. If I had a girl one time that opened her shirt up, and I noticed the customers were looking at her, and I was like, "Hey, we can't do this," and she filed sexual harassment on me. And it's just like, whoa, like it was good at the time, but then the responsibility, I liked it, I enjoyed it, we did well. But then it just seemed like everybody was pissed because I wasn't there for very long, and I became manager when people were there for 4 or 5 years.
Okay. So notice how the social environment is having an effect, that when the context satisfaction goes south, it can serve as a distraction from the otherwise intrinsic qualities of the job. Others low. Anybody else low? 1 or 2? Yes. Oh, yes.
Mine was at the bottom. That's in nonprofits. If there's not enough money, you never, one day to the next, don't know if you've got a job. Executives can change quite often.
Yep.
So there's a lot of
It's uncertainty.
Compensations or that's why I'm back in college. Because there isn't one.
Yeah. No, I've worked with a lot of people from nonprofits in the executive program, and you get all the uncertainty from budget season to budget season, whether you're going to have the money to continue. All right. Let's go to anybody on the high end in context satisfaction. Okay, Kat, go ahead with you.
4.
The 4.
Out of 5. I work in different attorneys' offices. For every deposition I take, there's a different attorney, different client, and they tend to have very comfortable offices. I have good relationships with them. You know, it's like you walk in, it's like, you know, someone's offering you coffee and whatever.
You probably take a deposition in a conference room or something.
Nice conference room, usually at the top of the Hyatt overlooking the city, stuff like that.
Hey.
Nice contest and good pay.
And good pay. A double whammy.
But I still hate it.
Do we want to go there?
I'm just bored to death because the skill that I do is there's no room for growth.
Okay, now what was your MPS for your job?
40.
Okay, it's on the low end.
48.
48.
Low.
Yeah. Okay. On the growth needs strength. When growth needs strength is high and the motivating potential score of the job is high, the two interact with each other to induce the highest level of intrinsic motivation. When growth needs strength is low, it can pull down the reaction to the job itself. So, what do you predict for me are my scores on these 3 items? This I have not done in the past.
The first one definitely has to be high as no teaching.
Well, do I know anything? I mean, that's the question.
No, you tell me. Yeah.
I rated it a 5. I think I have high knowledge and skill for what I'm doing. Yeah, I wrote the book, and I've written a bunch of other books, but it comes from experience and training and so on. Next one, growth needs strength, high or low? Yeah, off the scale. And then context satisfaction. Somebody said a 3? 3? Well, I did it overall. If you come to my office, and especially if you have small children, you will be enormously entertained because it's filled with stuffed animated toys. And when the kids come, they try to steal them. And I have this big stick. I'm serious. One mother didn't pay attention to her child, and he was walking out with Bugs Bunny. And no way you're going to take my Bugs Bunny. But it's an amusing place with big windows and so on. And so for me, all 3 of these are high, which when combined with at least a moderately high MPS implies a moderately high level of intrinsic motivation, which I think is true.
Professor, I have a question
Yes.
about the growth and strength pattern. Does that refer to the possibilities available for growth within your job?
No, growth satisfaction, which is a separate, let's see. Yeah, it's a separate context. No, it's not on here. Growth needs strength is like the need for achievement and is related to it. If we go back to what we were talking about from Chapter 7, need for achievement from Maslow and related ideas from Murray, and we come forward when these theorists developed the notion of growth needs strength, it's an internal desire to grow and develop from the job itself. Now, you've mastered the job that you have. That's
okay,
what.
So I would have a low score on that because I cannot derive any more growth from my job?
Possibly. Separately, we could say that as an intrinsic quality of the person has high growth needs strength, but doesn't satisfy it in the job that they currently have, increasing their frustration. In other words, you want a better job. And and you want a better job, I think, based on the comments. Benefits. Fringe and benefits. Fringe. Okay. Good job, money, fringe benefits. That sounds good. They all come together. But I think in your case, just in the conversations that we've had, you're probably on the high end in growth needs strength, but the job is not satisfying that growth needs strength,
Right.
so you start searching for new opportunities. And it's a double whammy frustration That is, you've done the job over and over again and you've mastered it. So when you go